There comes a moment, not in the noise, but in the stillness, when something within you breaks. And no, it's not your mind, not your heart. It's deeper. Like a quiet crack in your soul, it's the moment you realize you've been surviving, not living. You look at your life and it suddenly feels foreign. The job, the relationship, the expectations, the story you've been telling yourself for years. You've worn masks for so long, you forgot there was a face beneath them, and then silence. But in that silence, a whisper. One that says, this isn't you. Not anymore. Carl Jung called this the beginning of individuation, the psychological rebirth. The Stoics called it living according to nature, the alignment of soul and action. It is the moment when the false self dies, the one created to please, to conform, to cope. And the true self, long buried beneath layers of conditioning, begins to emerge. This is not a breakdown. This is a breakthrough. And it will hurt. You see, the unconscious doesn't send emails. It doesn't knock politely. It shakes you awake when your soul is suffocating. And that awakening often begins in the form of pain, that unshakable weight in your chest. That quiet dread every morning. That feeling that something isn't right, even if everything looks fine. And still, you keep trying. You smile when you want to scream. You say yes when every cell in your body begs you to say no. You are tired. Not because you're weak, but because you're done pretending. But listen carefully, this pain is sacred. Jung said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. The pain isn't punishment. It is the invitation. What you are feeling is your inner world revolting against the lie. The lie that you are only valuable if you're productive. The lie that love must be earned. The lie that your needs don't matter. You've been loyal to your wounds. Loyal to the versions of yourself that adapted to survive. But now, survival isn't enough. Now, your soul wants truth. And here's where it gets messy. To heal, you must face the shadow, the parts of you you've been taught to hide, your anger, your grief, your need, your voice. They are not your enemies. They are the parts of you that have been waiting to be integrated. Viktor Frankl once wrote, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. But to change yourself, you must let parts of you die. That version of you who stayed silent to keep the peace. Gone. That version who tolerated the intolerable, who laughed at jokes that weren't funny, who chased love that never saw you. Let them go, mourn them. Thank them. And release them. And yes, it's going to feel like loss. Like standing at the edge of a cliff with no safety net. Because the familiar, even when it's toxic, is still familiar. But this is your turning point. Not everyone will understand. They will say, you've changed. You're being selfish. You used to be so easygoing. They're right. You have changed. And no, you're not being selfish, you're being sovereign. You're not easy anymore. Because peace is no longer something you beg for. It's something you embody. The Stoics taught us that the only true freedom is inner freedom. That we cannot control the wind, but we can adjust our sails. That we must not ask, why is this happening to me? But instead, what is this trying to reveal in me? So, what is this pain revealing in you? Maybe you've outgrown the cage. Maybe the relationship, the job, the identity were never aligned with your soul, only with your fears. Maybe you've mistaken being numb for being strong, but numb is not strong. Numb is silent suffering. And your soul is done with silence. There is no savior coming. No perfect moment. No external permission slip. This is your responsibility. This is your revolution. This is your rebirth. And when you begin to walk away from the pain, the cycles, the people who only loved a version of you they could control, you will feel alone. But hear this, solitude is not the same as loneliness. Solitude is where your real self is waiting. And in that solitude, a quiet miracle happens. You begin to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Your energy begins to return. Not all at once, but in pieces. With every boundary you set. With every no more you whisper through tears. With every time you choose peace over performance. At first, it will feel unnatural. Because pain was your rhythm. Chaos, your tempo. But soon, peace will stop feeling boring. And start feeling like home. You'll notice something else, too. The people who once drained you will start to drift away. Not because you hate them, but because you no longer abandon yourself to keep them comfortable. And in their place, new people arrive. People who don't ask you to shrink. People who don't get intimidated by your boundaries. People who see you are not for who you pretend to be, but for who you really are. That's the paradox. The moment you stop seeking approval, you become magnetic. Not because you're performing, but because you're real. And this is just the beginning. You'll realize that you don't want more things, you want more meaning. That happiness isn't found in constant stimulation, but in alignment. That the biggest win isn't impressing others, it's coming home to yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." So be ruthless with your thoughts. Question every voice that says you're not enough. Interrogate every story that begins with "I should" and replace it with "What do I need?" What is true for me now? What would my life look like if I truly believed I am worthy? Because you are. Not when you're healed. Not when you're successful. Not when they finally understand, but now. Exactly as you are. Raw. Tired. Still here. You are not broken. You are awakening, and this awakening will not be loud. It will not come with applause, it will happen slowly, like a sunrise you didn't notice until everything was light. You've waited long enough. The peace you seek is not in the next book, the next person, the next accomplishment. It's in your next decision to finally choose yourself. So choose. Not from fear, but from freedom, because when you choose yourself, life begins to choose you back. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone you know needs to hear this. Share it. Leave a comment with the part that spoke to your soul. And if you're walking this path, subscribe. Let's grow. Together. This is Still Mind. And your transformation is just beginning.